mean, it was literally right before everything that was to come with COVID, when nobody's traveling. We're all on lockdown. Is anybody going to be interested in even thinking about replacing or buying an expense management system? Paying per employee per month license fees for their expense reporting system, irrespective of whether or not employees were actually using the service.
Welcome to Fintech Confidential, bringing you the people, tech, and companies that change how you pay and get paid. Today, we're diving deep into the realm of spend management, a domain that is as critical to a business as anything could be. Our guest today is none other than Naveen Singh, the CEO of Centre. Now picture this, a world where managing your business expenses is as easy as breathing, where every dollar spent is tracked with the precision of a hawk's eye, and where financial hygiene is not just a goal, but it's a way of life. That's the world Centre is building. Now, Naveen is a seasoned veteran in the fintech industry and is the captain steering this ship. His journey began at Concur with a focus on product. Now at the helm of Centre, he's leading a team that is empowering innovation across the spend management ecosystem. And before we peel back the layers of Centre's innovative approach to spend management, where we'll explore the unique business model, delve into their products, and discover how they're helping businesses navigate the turbulent seas of the current economic climate, I want to welcome Naveen Singh to the show.
Thanks so much, Ted. Pleasure to be here, and thank you for having me.
With you being in fintech and spending time at Concur, could you share with us how you fell into fintech and what sparked your interest in it?
I wish it was a cooler story than this, but my first job out of college was in product management at Concur Technologies, who is one of the market leaders in the space. I frankly fell in love with not just enterprise software and building applications, but frankly, just the business process of expense reporting.
So I have to ask, how did you end up working at Concur in the very first place?
Concur was founded by both my father and my uncle. They built the company for 20 years. I was a little bit of a lost college kid looking for something to do and something to, develop a passion for, and, was very lucky to get an opportunity at Concur. Through that, it really sparked passion, and very grateful, obviously, for the opportunity that they and others at Concur gave me.
I can only imagine the conversations at the dinner table, family events, all that fun stuff. And then getting the time in product at Concur. How has all of that shaped your approach to leading Centre as a company?
It really kind of comes down to some very simple points. I'm a big believer that you need to fall in love with the problem that you're solving. It's funny, expense reporting is certainly not the sexiest thing in enterprise software technology. What you do by just leaning on a problem like that for years, decades at a time is you build a really first principles understanding of why it exists, what problems do customers have, what different approaches are there out in the market. And it really gives you a foundation to experiment with different approaches to the solution.
With Centre's mission to shape the future of spend management, as you said, you fell in love with the problem. Can you elaborate a little bit more on the vision and how it's aligning with the current trends in fintech?
It's a question that's near and dear to my heart. Obviously, I first started working at Concur in, call it 2013, 2014. And as you think about what really was happening, what we started to see was that a lot of employees, essentially the way that employees were spending in the organization was starting to change. In the old days of the 90s and the 2000s, it was very common to have employee spend driven through what we think of as managed channels, whether it's booking travel through the company sponsored booking tool or calling your travel agent, or whether it's procuring goods, through your procurement system or your procurement organization. Employee spending was really centrally managed and centrally controlled. But you fast forward to the mid 2010s, and we started to see a pretty significant behavioral change. This was driven in large respect by just the rise of new internet marketplaces like an Airbnb, like an Uber, like an Amazon.com. And what we started to see was that employees were increasingly comfortable going and buying their goods or their services through these new marketplaces and putting a credit card down, paying for what they need, and then putting it on the expense report after the fact. I think a really important thing to empower employees to spend and to procure their goods in the best way possible for them to accomplish their business objective. But it created a visibility and a control gap for CFOs where they were used to controlling and managing spending right at the point of purchase. They no longer had that level of visibility and control. And ultimately, in our view, that led to a breakdown in the value that more traditional spend management systems offered those CFOs. And so we thought, hey, there's an opportunity to really reinvent this model around some principles around driving real-time visibility, real-time controls, and just better automation, and thought that this coming integration of credit cards and expense management or spend management software together was really at the foundation of what would transform the next generation of the category.
That really sets up the ability for the employees to be truly empowered to do what they need to do to support the business without being delayed in a number of different areas. I know many times I remember having to get a PO number and then get this and then be given a one-time use credit card that may or may not have been enough on the balance. It's clearly stated that your company believes that spend management, and you even just talked about it, should empower teams to do more and go further. How are you and the company embodying that belief?
That comes down to removing points of friction from the user experience. A big part of what we really do is replace the idea of the expense report. We kind of take a step back. I think a big part of what you're touching on is, look, in every part of our lives today, we're really leaning into this idea of empowering people to make better decisions. And so our view is, look, why is expense reporting any different than that? We all have to spend money on behalf of our businesses in order to get our jobs done. But how do we do that in a way that is easy for employees, but that also delivers just the right level of visibility and compliance and control to the CFO? A big part of that is speaking in addition to this point around kind of how does Fintech have a role in this? A big is, look, we think the idea of the credit card and expense management software coming together is right. We think that these inefficiencies that slow them down and that create a lack of visibility for CFOs is driven by the nature of the expense reporting process. It's a very batch-based business process that can be reinvented by combining those two different ideas of the credit card and the software to just deliver fundamentally real-time visibility, but to also deliver a more automated process that's truly real-time from the swipe of the credit card all the way to the posting of the accounting system.
While wanting to empower an employee, but also give the companies control over their expenses, could you give us an understanding of Center's key product features and how they're designed to solve problems in that spend management space?
Absolutely, Ted. And look, for us, we obviously issue a corporate credit card that's called Center Card. It's a MasterCard branded card. It works everywhere a MasterCard works today. And we combine that with our expense management software. But it's really the integration and the way that we integrate these things that that are important for our customers. There's a couple of unique aspects to this. One is, look, obviously that credit card provides us real-time information and the real-time data. But we build on that with a hyper configurable system for our customers. Middle market CFOs need enterprise scale customization, and configurability to support a wide variety of business needs, whether that's managing expenses to an ever-changing set of projects, whether it's, sophisticated multi-level approval hierarchies or otherwise. There's a really high degree of configurability that our customers really need. They also don't want to contract with professional services and go through multiple kind of change management processes in order to deliver that level of customization. So what we've really delivered is both a real-time approach to expense management that integrates the card in our software, but also delivering that in a hyper configurable but really approachable software package. And we've delivered all of that in what we think of as a consumption-based economic model, where we monetize based off of the usage of Center Card and not a per employee per month license fee, which is really beneficial to our customers because it matches our outcomes as a vendor to the actual usage and the value that we drive for our customers.
As you mentioned, you've worked with businesses of every size. Can you share with us a success story of a small or medium-sized business that was able to grow and succeed with the help of Center's solutions?
In many respects, you could say that as our customer grows, we grow. We serve a really wide array of customers, ranging from construction companies to nonprofits to higher education, technology. A lot of times, there's a focus on serving growing technology companies, and that's great. That's certainly something that we do. But we're very also proud of the other verticals that we serve. We work with a lot of construction management firms who, frankly, are scaling very quickly. One of our customers has grown since we contracted with them from, call it 50 employees to about 200 employees. Their processes need to really evolve during that journey, right? It's a lot easier to control and manage and employee spending when you're 50 employees than when you're 200 employees. And so with their early kind of regional operations, with a very simple configuration, something that was basically to give out 20 cards to your employees, and there's very basic kind of policies around this and a very single level approval structure for your expenses, all of that kind of stuff. But as they've grown, we've worked with them to institute a lot more sophistication in their general ledger structure. As they migrated to a new ERP, we were able to help them reflect that new configuration in Center. We're able to deliver a lot more rules around policy audits and controls, a more multi-level approval hierarchy, all kind of as they've managed that transition.
The Center Card, is that a corporate card? Is that a purchasing card? Is it just a general purpose reloadable? What kind of card is that?
It's actually a corporate credit card that operates on a 30-day pay down cycle that runs on the MasterCard network today.
And with Center Card's corporate credit card, and it integrates directly in with Center Expense, can you explain how having that tight integration works and what kind of benefits it provides to the businesses that are leveraging both products?
We, in fact, don't offer these products as separate things. The only way that you can buy from Center today is by using both these products together, which speaks to really the conviction that we have around the fact these products should be bought and managed together. Ultimately, the value of this deep level of integration is a few different things. The first is it allows us to eliminate the expense report for the user. We essentially pull transactional data every time you swipe the credit card from the MasterCard network and use that to enrich the expense to make it as automated as humanly possible to fill out that expense. And that allows us to not really subject that user or finance to the expense report. But second to that, and because we're able to pull that data from the credit card network itself, we're able to offer really enriched and classified data to CFOs in real time. So you don't have to wait for the 30-day month-end close cycle to get real visibility into the spend that's put on the expense report. It's all available right from the point of purchase. And then the third element is it really allows for us to deliver this solution without charging our customers a per employee per month license fee. We don't really market ourselves as free. We do, in fact, monetize based off of credit card transaction fees, much like an American Express would today. And really the important piece to us is that because we only monetize based off of the transactional fees, we feel that we align our business really tightly to our customers' outcomes. And that affects everything. It affects everything from the way that we sell and support our customers to the way that we build products and align our product development to making our customers successful.
You're talking about enriched data. You're talking about identifying better ways to use the data. And I'm going to throw out a couple buzzwords. Are you guys leveraging machine learning, artificial intelligence, some other magical black box? Is there something that you're doing that? And if you are or aren't, can you share some specific features that you have in that area that make the expense management easier for the businesses?
SolvePath is an AI-driven customer support system that enhances the customer experience with visual formats and self-serve technology to empower your customers to handle their own support requests. Get the best customer support system for your business. Get SolvePath. Get started by visiting getsolvepath.com.
I love this question. I think it's a really important topic for everybody today. I'll start with saying we're big believers at Center in the power of AI and the power of machine learning. And we think it's going to radically transform the expense management workflow. And frankly, it's going to radically transform huge other areas of our products. Today, we use it for really categorization of expenses primarily. That's what's productized and in the market. Where we're really excited about the potential here is in automating whole parts of the spend management workflow that today are really manual. We do a great job today with our rules-based software in a really structured model, taking a credit card transaction and progressing it down a workflow to put it into the accounting system. All of the analysis of that spend and the control and configuration of rules to manage that spend happen essentially in a human-driven capacity. And look, a lot of our customers would say nobody really wants to manage the expense reporting process, at least not as the core part of what they have to wake up in the morning. And so we think that there's huge opportunity to apply AI to automate the analysis of spending, to look for trends or patterns, and to go a step further than just generating insights, to actually manage controls and make sure that you're actually optimizing spend right at the point of purchase. But we certainly think that there's huge amounts of value to add in the coming quarters and years around that idea.
Can you share with us one or two key use cases where Center has been particularly beneficial for the businesses that you've helped?
A lot of our customers do a lot of work in project-based accounting. A big part of the problem set that they have is being able to allocate individual expenses out in the field that are undertaken by 10, sometimes hundreds of employees to a set of project codes that they can use to actually bill their customer for the expenses that they incur for the project. You think about this on a batch-based expense reporting cycle, because it's just human nature and employee behavior to file these expense reports days, weeks, months after sometimes the point of purchase. It actually affects real business outcomes for some of these customers. They're not able to actually collect the data that they need to bill their customers until past the point where it's even appropriate to bill those customers. What we've really found a lot of success in is helping them gather that data all on a real-time basis. So instead of the 20-day average, finance users are able to close their expenses at the end of the month, a matter of a handful of clicks as opposed to hours or days or frankly even weeks chasing down those expense reports. The value of that extends to even being able to bill their customers in days as opposed to having to wait weeks or months, which obviously is creative to their revenue. But just really the real-time data and collapsing that process into something far more streamlined helps not just the reconciliation activities, but it also can be a driver of revenue for some of our customers as well.
It's interesting you bring up the days, weeks, months. I've done that. I know others have done that with me, and I can truly relate to that piece of it. With the amount of data that you're collecting, the process of speeding up the closing of the books, really helping the finance and especially the accounting team deliver on their job lots faster. We've already mentioned a number of ways that we can save time and effort. Center also has integrations with various ERP systems. Can you share a few of those integrations and how those integrations enhance the customer's experience?
Integrations is a topic that I know is near and dear to a lot of finance teams' hearts. We have API connections with multiple ERP systems, including NetSuite, including Sage Intacct, QuickBooks, and we're building more every single day. And one of the things that we've discovered, and this was just a learning from implementing the 1,000+ customers that we have now, integrating with ERPs is about a lot more than just passing data through an API. The complicated part for customers is matching the configurations that they, and basically the data structure that they have in their ERP. A lot of the configurability that we built is designed around making it very easy for finance users to go in and themselves manipulate the way that data fields actually are reflected in the center system to match what's in their ERP, to match what's in their general ledger. What we've learned is that just about every customer has a unique way that they manage their general ledger and their accounting hierarchy, and being able to deliver easy tools to help them reflect that in their expense management system drives a lot of automation and a lot of value downstream in the workflow. That's really where we spend a lot of our time, a lot of our innovation cycles. We're, really proud of what we've done there.
Another area that I really think helps out the finance department is your differentiated pricing model, which is consumption based. Can you explain how this model works without going into too much of the granular detail, and how it helps the businesses maximize every dollar spent?
We launched our first product, our what we call our real-time expense management system, that consists of both the credit card and the expense management system, in February 2020. So it was really interesting timing. It was literally right before everything that was to come with COVID, which was interesting. So in a lot of respects, we feel like we were kind of born during the time of COVID. And a lot of what resonated with customers in those early days, and we were very unsure of, hey, is anybody going to even want to talk to us when nobody's traveling, right? We're all on lockdown. Is anybody going to be interested in even thinking about replacing or buying an expense management system? But part of what we saw in a lot of our early customer conversations were this way, is they were frankly tired of paying per employee per month license fees for their expense reporting system, irrespective of whether or not employees were actually using the service. When you have a 100 employee company or 1,000 employee company, only about 30% of those users are actually active, traveling and incurring expenses in any given month. And so having a system that charges you whether or not those users are in the field doesn't make a lot of sense. So a big part of what we did was to say, hey, we're going to monetize based off of the credit card transaction. Now, where we add our value is in the software and the configurability and the automation. We don't market ourselves as free. We offer less of a credit card rebate and rewards program than many traditional programs do. We make up for that and a lot more in terms of the value that we deliver to our customers through our software. But the important part is less the actual mechanics of how we monetize and more just that alignment, where if you don't use Center, 70% of your employee base isn't using Center in any given month. Those are not licenses that you're paying for during that period of time. And so that's been a big value driver for our customers.
Your business model, which is based on credit card interchange, is quite unique, and it allows you to offer your software nearly free of charge. How have the customers reacted to this model, and what are the challenges you faced in implementing it?
It's very interesting, and in some respects, a little bit counterintuitive, where it's particularly when you're serving the middle market customers who are used to paying for software, there's a lot of skepticism that intrinsically comes with, hey, you don't have to pay for this. You certainly don't have to pay for it out of pocket with license fees. We're not going to charge you a per employee per month license fee, but the quality of our system is enterprise grade and then some. Not just the quality of our system, but the quality of our support, quality of our implementation. We're very high touch with our customer implementations, with our support model. And it's in fact a big reason why customers choose to come with Center. We're very responsive to customer issues, very responsive to customer needs, and we work proactively to prevent any kind of issues. And we've spent a lot of time and attention to make sure that customers see that and they understand that and they know that, we're not a cheap solution. A big part of that for us operationally has been this kind of internal mantra that we have to earn our customers' business with every swipe of the credit card, to be there for customers with a very high degree of care, very consultative, and understand our customers' requirements, and to really truly support our service in real time. We're a big believer in consumption models, and we think that it's going to define the future of the category.
With all of the skepticism around having a nearly free model and the philosophy of growth with discipline and prioritizing fiscal hygiene, how does Center help businesses navigate during the current economic climate?
The growth with discipline model is an important model to keep in any economic climate. We feel it in the technology industry more right now than certainly we did in 2020 and 2021. To me, a growth with discipline model is really about understanding your customer, understanding your unit economics, what drives your business, and thinking about scale in light of future profitability. That's a really healthy activity for all of us to undergo. Fits this broader trend of helping customers grow in an efficient model that scales up and down with their needs. It's an important thing to be, really focused on in this market environment, but also really in any market environment. You'll never go wrong growing with discipline. If you really think about it with a long-term horizon, you just have to structure your business and your systems and your tools as a part of that, in a way that can survive in any climate.
Can you share with us an instance where your approach as being innovative and focusing on modern tools led to a breakthrough or a significant achievement for a client? What about having those tools and being very focused on the hygiene, finding potential fraud or people trying to expense, I don't know, like their wife's handbag or something? I don't know. Can you share with us an instance where your approach has led to a breakthrough or a significant achievement like that for a client?
There's always some funny stories in relationship to expense reporting. We've certainly helped our customers identify sometimes hundreds of thousands of dollars of fraud in various instances. The breakthroughs that I think are most interesting and most valuable and most sustaining over the long term are really true changes to business process. And some of our best cases are when customers actually look at, how do I simplify my configuration? How do I take out levels of approval hierarchy? How do I reduce the number of rules that I actually need to manage my business? Because that really burden not just for finance and accounting, but for the user themselves and for managers and approvers themselves. Our best customer relationships are when we can actually help our customers simplify their processes. Maybe it's not the sexiest thing in the world, but it certainly drives efficiency and it certainly drives scalability in their business.
I got two more questions for you. Before I dive into these questions, which are more about you and how you see things, is there anything that you wanted to make sure that the audience hears that maybe we haven't touched on today?
This been a wide-reaching conversation. I would say that Center's really built with the middle market CFO in mind, and we aim to deliver the best-in-class user experience for employees. One of the things we're really proud of is that we really built our software with the finance user in mind, and so everything from the user interface to the workflows and the configurability, it's all optimized for treating that finance user as a first-class citizen. A lot of software isn't designed for for finance users, we take great care and pride in that.
With your experience at Concur and now at Center, what is the most important lesson you've learned from your journey in the fintech industry, especially in the field of spend management?
The most important lesson is to take the long view. There's broad systematic trends that affect all of our industries. Spend management's no different. This idea of payments and software coming together, it truly is reinventing every part of spend management business processes for customers. It's reinventing the way that, frankly, financial services are delivered to corporate customers. And these broader market transformations take 5, 10, 15, 20 years to really play out. Showing up every day and doing that work, taking that long-term view and being in the details is really what gets the job done over the course of time.
And the last question of the day, this one's more to help out your fellow fintech startup founders. If you were only allowed to give one piece of advice, and it was the last piece of advice you could give, culminating up to today, what would you give to other fintech startup founders about driving towards being successful?
I don't know that this is going to be either novel or all that interesting. I've found comfort in remaining in details and blocking out the noise. I'll focus on what is the customer problem you're trying to solve. Focus on building a sustainable business that focuses on generating really strong unit economics. It's not the sexy stuff. It's really the meat and potatoes work is what survives. If you could get real satisfaction on taking a long-term view and solving real customer problems, that's really what's required in this market, in any market.
Well, Naveen, I have learned so much about spend management today and all the different ways that Center is helping the market be more successful and be more efficient and move forward in this. What is the best way for them to reach out to you if they want to learn more about you or about what you're doing with Center?
Ted, it's been a pleasure and really appreciate you having me on today. You can always get in contact with Center at by going to our website, getcenter.com. I'd love to engage with anybody, whether you're looking for an expense management solution, whether you're, a bank or another entity looking to partner your way into the spend management space, or frankly, you just want to start up in fintech ideas. I'm always more than happy to get on the phone and talk.
What we're going to go ahead and do is put all the links to get a hold of Naveen and the folks at Center. And if you want an expedited way to get to Naveen, just go to center.fintechconfidential.com and we'll get you straight into their queue to have somebody reach out to you immediately. And again, Naveen, thank you so much for your time today. And I've learned so much. I can't wait to see what Center brings to the market next.
Likewise, Ted. Pleasure to be here. Thank you so much for having me.
Support provided by SolvePath. In e-commerce, it's really easy to get bogged down with basic support inquiries, whether that's where is my package, how do I return or exchange this item, or just to cancel a subscription. SolvePath is an AI-driven customer support system that uses a visual format and self-serve technology to quickly and effectively resolve issues, resulting in satisfying support experiences for customers. Customize a visual support experience for your e-commerce brands and increase your overall performance, enhance the customer experience, and drastically reduce support costs. Get the best customer support system for your business. Get SolvePath. Get started by visiting getsolvepath.com.
This has been a production of Diamond D3 Media, with all rights reserved. This is provided for informational purposes only. It is not offered or intended to be used as legal, tax, investment, financial, or other advice. We strive to provide accurate and up-to-date information, but will not be responsible for any missing facts or inaccurate information. You comply and understand that you should use any of this information at your own risk. Cryptocurrencies are highly volatile financial assets, so research and make your own financial decisions.